Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm gonna do my weekly update for July 4th, 2021. So happy 4th of July to those in the US. To everybody else, it's just Sunday, but whatever. So it's still pretty warm here in Oregon, just not as crazy as it was before. But I'm trying to cool my house off right now with fans in the windows. It's not fun anyway, so not much has gone on, but I have to say that with the heat that we had earlier in the week, as I said, I told you guys on Sunday that we were supposed to have, it was 113 that day, and then the next day, Monday, I worked only about 5 hours because they sent us home at noon, because where I work, I had AC in the room I'm in, but the rest of the building doesn't really. There's only a few rooms, and so they sent us all home at noon, which was nice, except I came home to melt on my couch, and we had it was 100 and, I think it was it 100 and, it was at least 113. Maybe that was the 113 day. Yes, Cooper. He's being really cuddly today. Sorry. Before I woke up, he woke me up this morning, so he's just being cuddly. I don't know. Anyway, so, I pretty much melted on Sunday and Monday. Tuesday was better, but it was in the 90s. And then it dropped. Like, we were in the high 70s in midweek, which was, it was like a huge difference. It was so wonderful. It was glorious. And I could finally sleep again. Anyway, so I'm trying to still catch up on my sleep and figure out what I'm going to do when the next heat wave hits. It's kind of hard to get any air conditioners now because everybody's bought them, and like little portable ones. And I don't know. We'll see what I do. Anyway, so my reading kind of sucked this week. I did not read a whole lot because when I'm super uncomfortable, and you have to understand that my skin is very sensitive. Sounds stupid. I break out in the sun. I'm allergic to the sun, but heat kind of does the same thing. So I had a pretty bad heat rash over all my legs and my arms. So I've been pretty itchy all week too. It's just now starting to fade, but I still have instances where it's pretty bad. But, or spots that are bad. So I'm just not comfortable right now, and it hasn't been fun. And so I didn't read a whole lot this week. So let's just talk about the books I did read, and then what I'm in the middle of, which is a lot of stuff as always recently. I don't know what it is with me right now. And then what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So I had one book that kind of carried over from June to July that I was actively reading, but I didn't finish it until yesterday, so I will talk about that in a second. But I did read a few mangas, so I didn't finish anything until Friday, because that's kind of, as I said, I wasn't reading much at all. So I did pick up from the library Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is, the art is by Poe Tez, and the story was adapted by Stacey King. So this, again, it's manga style. So again, it's this was so bad. I saw it on, I don't know, I was flipping through my library looking for stuff for Jane Austen July. Again, I'm participating in that this year. That's put on by Katie at Books and Things, Marissa at Blatantly Bookish, and Claudia at Spinster's Library. And again, I've done Jane Austen July all 4 years. I think this is the 4th year, so I've really enjoyed it every time. And I usually try to find a few things from my library. I shouldn't. I have plenty of stuff to read here at home. But I wanted to try the manga. I saw these classic ones, manga classics. And I just wanted to see how they went. Oh, I left a bookmark in there. Anyway, this was so bad. Like, the main story, Pride and Prejudice, is in there. But the characters are just overblown, and so Darcy blushes, and Elizabeth's yelling all the time or exclaiming or something. It's just so obvious her feelings on certain things. And then, okay, spoiler here if you have not read Pride and Prejudice, it talks too much about what she thinks about Darcy way too early. Like, it's just, she doesn't know what she thinks then. It was just pissing me off on a certain point. It's just near the end. But before the end. It was way before where her feelings changed. Anyway, point is, I don't know. This book was just, again, it's a funny adaptation. I think it's for you know, obviously for maybe kids or, you know, who want to read it in manga style rather than the actual, I would just say read the actual. Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book of all time. And so I do like to read retellings once in a while just to see how other people interpret it. This was not an interpretation I liked. This sucked. And again, I'm not saying the drawing was bad. It's not my manga style either. I mean, there's a lot of Japanese manga that I really like. That their art style is just gorgeous. I just found this one very cliche and very, very over the top. Way over the top. So, and again, it was a library book. I tried it. It took me, you know, I read it in 2 days because I split it up and read some on the Thursday when I got it from the library and then finished it Friday. So, it's just ridiculous. But I read it. It was my first thing for Jane Austen July. Then yesterday, Friday and then Saturday, I read one manga, my brain is just not thinking of the term. One book of each on Kami Can't Communicate by Tomohito Oda. This is translated by, I think it's John Weary. So again, I started this manga series in June. My friend told me about it and thought I'd like it. So I read one and really enjoyed it. Got the second one, read that last week. And so I had already asked for the next two because I knew that they were available. So they were there on Thursday when I took all my other library books back and picked up new ones, a lot of new ones. Bad Amy. Anyway, so I got these two. I read them right away. I really enjoyed this series. Again, it's a high school one, but it has to do with a young woman who, you know, is seen as the, you know, the princess of the class, kind of really stylish and nice, you know, comes off very cool and doesn't talk to anybody because she has very high anxiety of speaking in public or saying things out loud. She just closes up, and although inside she's just freaking out, you can't see that on the outside. She has such a good mask for that. And one day, when they're starting high school, this guy has his seat next to her, and he's the first one to notice that she's having trouble, and so he talks to her, and then she wants to get 100 friends. That's her goal for high school, and so they are collecting people along the way, and I really enjoy this series. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely not. It's a little, once in a while it goes a little bit over the top, and again, it's manga, so it's not perfect, and it just makes me laugh. I really like the storyline with Kami and Tanano, which is the boy, and then some of the other girls that and boys that they meet and make friends with. I'm enjoying it. So I've already asked for the next two from the library because they're both available. So I think, yeah. So I'm getting 5 and 6. So maybe I'll have that next week. I don't know. So I'm kind of going through that series pretty quickly, but I'll get that but I'm really enjoying that. And then the only book that I finished was Big Bad Wolf by Solinka Snyder. So this is the first book in a new paranormal romance series called Third Shift. So I took a gamble on this one. I'd never read from this author. I was, supporting new authors kind of thing online, and I'd heard, I think Kazen from Always Doing had mentioned that she liked this. So I kind of want to go back and watch her review now that I've finished it, because there are things about this I really liked and things about this I really hated. So I think this is a great series. I think a lot of people are going to like this. This is about an alternate world where in 2016, after the darkest day happened, things are very, very different. What happened it even escalates farther than what actually happened during the years after that. So this is like 2020, but 2020 is in like an alternate world of where everything kind of goes really badly for the worlds. There are sanctuary cities where supernatural creatures have come out, and so she, the main female character is Niha, and she is a lawyer, and she also has her doctorate in behavioral sciences kind of thing. So she is brought in to help with a shifter who has killed some people, some mafia people, because they took out his foster brother. So it's so things just kind of escalate from there. But it starts as kind of this kind of you know, like it's gonna be a procedural, like, or, you know, courtroom kind of thing, except then things kind of happen and then they have to go on the run, she and him, because of a certain circumstance. And then, you know, so it's definitely a paranormal romance. There is a lot of sexy times in this. I mean, I'm not going to say that there's not. I mean, sometimes in questionable times when they probably shouldn't, but still, you know, that's the fun of fiction. There was a lot of things about this I liked. I liked Niha. She was just awesome. I loved her as a character, and I liked her motivations and her reasoning for things. Like, she made sense, like, in a lot of ways. Joe, who is the shifter, he was kind of annoying sometimes because he was a little self-sacrificing on a lot of things that were stupid and chauvinistic in some ways, but not like over the top, kind of like not meanly or anything, just, you know, he's pretty much giving, you know, like giving up himself kind of stuff just to help other people that way, but in a weird way where it kind of came off, I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining that right, but he just sometimes annoyed me. But my problem with this partly is my own thing about contemporary works. I'm really having trouble with contemporary books at all. I thought that this would be, you know, just enough difference, you know, because with the paranormal element, that I would be able to get through it, but I really had trouble because it was so, I mean, it wasn't realistic, don't get me wrong. I meant the world building was really well done, except it still was too close to our world. I guess, I don't know, there's something about that was just a me thing. But I wasn't holding that against the book. My problem with the book is that, again, a lot of paranormal romances, hell, most romances have that moment where one of the characters does something stupid or decides something for the other character because, you know, they think they're not good enough for the other one, and makes certain decisions and does something super stupid or says something super stupid. And that happened in this one. I was not happy with that character and what happened. And then there was a scene that happened, let's see, we're at 258, so I was 40 pages from the end. I nearly threw this book across the room. Now, I did not, nor did I DNF there, but it was a close call. If that scene had happened earlier in the book, this book could have been a DNF. I'm not saying it was bad, I just didn't enjoy it. So, but I still think there was so much good to this. As I said, I think that the characters that they create, there's characters in here, I want to see books on them. The next book is called Pretty Little Lion, which is on one of the characters that we meet. And again, it's a lot of mafia stuff. So you have to kind of be into that. It's very modern. There were things dropped from, which is part of the contemporary part that I don't always enjoy, is that they are dropped, like certain things that happened in, like, that we would recognize. Like, again, even though this world is twisted, there were still a lot of things we would catch that happened in our world, like, you know, things on social media and on movies and TV shows and things. And I think that's like cute, cool little Easter eggs. I think that's really well done. It's just not really what I want. I guess that was my problem. So I'm not sure if I will continue with the next book. I liked a lot of it. It's just near the end, that one scene nearly killed it for me. And it's bad that I was so close to the end and nearly wanted to just put this book down and go, no, I don't want to do this. I just didn't like the way that went. And that was a decision the characters made that I didn't really agree with. But anyway, so, but I finished it. So, I've at least done that. As I said, I'm on the fence on trying the next one that comes out. I think it's in October. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. So if you guys have read this one, let me know what you think. Because again, there's a lot of good things in here, and I did enjoy part of it quite a bit. Like, I enjoyed the ride. And then there are other things that just drove me crazy, clearly. And then, so that's all I finished. Like, I read a lot of manga and finished. That book took me all week. It was just, and it's like it's 297 pages. I don't know why it took me so long. It was just really, I didn't read much of anything the first couple days, and I just didn't, it didn't go well. Anyway, I didn't do much. So I'm still in the middle of, let's talk about the books I'm in the middle of. The Sun in the Morning by MMK, My Early Years in India and England. I'm hoping now that it's cooled off just a tad, I'm going to try to get some of this done this week. I'm going to try to figure out a way to, I'm just under halfway. And I paused it to finish something out a week or two ago, and then I just haven't got back to it. So I'm going to try to get back to this and finish it. Some people have finished it already, and others are closing in. I'm halfway. I need to do this. I'm doing this as a buddy read with a group of people on Voxer, with Kate Howe as the one leading it. So hopefully I'll get deeper into this and figure out what I want to do. Again, this is a writer who wrote her, who was born in early 1900s, like I think she was 1902 or 3 or something. I can't remember what year. And she has 3 autobiography books. This is the first one that talks about her childhood in India, and then I think she'll be going to boarding school in England at some point, but we haven't got that far. She's still in India, so we're getting so many awesome descriptions of India in the early 20th century, and it's amazing in that way. And she writes again, she's a writer. She wrote a book called The Far Pavilions and Shadow of the Moon and The Tide Winds, I think, and then she has a mystery series. But I do want to read her epic or her historical fiction. I just haven't got there yet. So, but I'm trying to finish this. So this is a priority, hopefully this week, to try to get this done because I'm still reading it. And then I started 2 books for Jane Austen July, because that manga was my first one. I don't know. That was not worth it. So the first one is The Castles of Athen, Athlin and Dunbayne, I think, by Anne Radcliffe, a Highland story. So this one, it was my BookTube spin number 3. This is the first of the picks that came through. So I want to get it done as early as possible. It's one of the Anne Radcliffe's that I bought, I think last year I bought this. It's only 113 pages. It's not very long, and I've only read 16 pages, but this is so dull. So it's not like her other novels. So I haven't gone and looked to see if this is one of her early ones or one of her later ones. There's so little dialogue. I mean, it is mostly just description. I mean, it's so dry. I mean, things happen, like we just had a battle, but it could have been so much better. Like it just could have been so cool. And she kind of made it dull. And so I'm not sure how this one's going to go. I've liked some of her other books. Again, Anne Radcliffe was writing mostly before Jane Austen was. So in the late 1700s. And as I said, I can't remember if this is an early or late one. I don't remember. So, but I've liked the other ones I've read, which right now off the top of my head, the Italian I really liked, and I read one of the other ones. I read another one last year. I can't remember now, but I'm trying to get through them. I'm trying to read everyone but The Mysteries of Udolpho because it's so long, but I have a couple more small ones to read. So again, this one was my BookTube spin, which was put on by Rick MacDonnell. And so again, this was the one of the 2 that were spun on this 3rd round. So I get to read it for Jane Austen July. So anyway, I'm gonna probably try to read a chapter a day, unless it gets better. But right now, this is gonna be slow going because I read 2 chapters and I thought I was gonna melt yesterday. I was just like, and I wasted hours in the afternoon. I actually took a nap because I got so bored. Anyway, so it just has to do with a clan war. We're following, is it Osbert? I don't know. Osbert, who is the Earl of Athen or whatever. Athene, whatever how you say that. And his father was killed by the Earl of Dunbay, so that leader, who's called Malcolm. And so for years the family did not try to retaliate, even though they could have, because it was such a slaughter. But they waited till the Osbert got to have age, and then someone kind of like talked him into it, and then it just went badly. So we're only chapter 2, so it's not like major spoilers. So, but it has to do with, I think, Malcolm wreaking havoc as well. Now he's waited all these years to do more damage, and I think somehow Osbert's sister is going to be involved somehow. I'm not sure. We'll see. As I said, I don't have high hopes for this one. I liked the other ones that I read a lot better. So we'll see. But that is, again, for the prompt of a contemporary. Again, or somebody, I put it as anybody that she probably read as a shit. We know she read some about Anne Radcliffe because of Northanger Abbey. But I don't know about that book. That's right. And then last night I started Charlotte by Helen Moshfegh. So this is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice from Charlotte's point of view. But what this is really, it's after, yeah, just say after Pride and Prejudice. So this is like about 10 years in the future. Maybe not 10 completely, but yeah, it's at least 7 or 8 years in the future. And we follow Charlotte, and in the very, very beginning, her third child, her son, has just passed away, and then it's her grief from that, and that starts this book. So, so far it's interesting. I guess I didn't really quite know it was not going to be a full retelling. I thought I was going to get at least a little bit more from Pride and Prejudice point of view from her, you know, like to see that. But it's really pretty much just in the future, and things are already kind of going in ways I'm like, whoa, this is going to be weird. So I'm not sure how I'm going to like this, but I'm going to give it a shot. Anyway, so I've, been waiting to read this all. It came out last year, and I pre-ordered it from, I think, Book Depository to get a paperback copy. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. So I'm going to try to read that. So those are the stuff that I've started. I am going to start the audiobook on Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, which is one of the ones I want to read this month. That's one of her main novels. Again, they're doing a read-along on their Goodreads page for this. I just read it. Again, I don't participate in that, but I have the audiobook, and I did start it last year, but I'm probably going to restart it. So I have not listened to an audiobook in like 2 weeks, or maybe a week and a half or so. Whenever it started getting hot, I stopped listening to Seven Surrenders by Ada Palmer. So I put that on hold because Jane Austen July, and so I'm going to try to listen to this one. Mansfield Park is not one of my favorites. It's kind of in the middle. I definitely dislike 2 other ones more than this one. So it's kind of in position number 4 at this point. So I would really like to listen to it to see if I've changed my opinion. I've only read this one once. So it's one of the 3 bottom ones that I don't like as well. I've not read any of those twice yet. Well, no, I take it back. One of them I read twice because I'd read twice in 1 year. But the other 2 I've only read, this and Northanger Abbey I've only read once. So there are ones I do want to reread to see if my opinion changes on them. Mansfield Park, to me, I read it in college. I found it slow, but I didn't dislike it. I just, it was not the same as how I feel about Pride and Prejudice, Persuasion, or even Sense and Sensibility. This was definitely a different novel in what it follows and stuff. So I do want to listen to it on audio this month. That's my goal, to get that done. So that's going to be my primary audiobook, but I need to start it. So I'm going to start it this week. And then if I read Charlotte or the Anne Radcliffe pretty quickly, I hope to maybe pick up Belinda by Maria Edgeworth. This is a contemporary of Jane Austen. This book was published in 1802, and it, I think it just follows some people and dealing like a woman whose friends are all getting married, and they're all having different situations, and then I think it deals with how her marriage prospects are. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about it. I guess it's supposed to be funny, but also thought-provoking. So we will see. Again, this is one of those ones I've heard about since. Well, I knew about this book before this, but I didn't buy it until I think 2 years ago I bought it. And so it's been like that one of those ones I wanted to read for Jane Austen July the last couple years, but didn't get to it. But I hope to try to do it this year. So it's a 480 page book. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful. And then I'm hoping that if I need something to cheer me up or to take a break, I'm going to reread Hearthstone by L. Catherine White. This is a Pride and Prejudice retelling with dragons. I love this book. I liked the series pretty well. I still think the first book is the best, and I've reread this a couple times when I finally read it last year. So I really want to. I'll probably read this at some point, just because I haven't read it in about 8 or 9 months, and I really want to reread it. So, and then the only other thing that I might pick up, is, let's see here. Oop, it moved on me. Oh, oh my gosh, it's not gonna blow up the, so, I don't know. You can see it's An Assembly Such as This, a novel of Fitzwilliam Darcy Gentleman by Pamela Aiden. So anyway, this is an ebook I have that I bought. I think it's a series of 3 books. I only have the first one. And so I'm going to probably read that on my lunches at work. Again, it's a retelling of Pride and Prejudice from Darcy's point of view. But I guess it's split up into 3 novels. So it would be different parts of the book. So I think the first part is when he's near Longbourn and stuff at Netherfield. And then I think the next one is what he's doing when we don't see him for a while. And maybe at the end I don't know. I don't know how it works. Cat Cooper. See, he's so cuddly recently. Just a brat. Anyway, so that's it. Oh, I've still talked so much when I didn't even read that much. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good holiday. If you have it, I have tomorrow off, so I'm gonna go get my car oil change. Yay. Beyond that, I'm just gonna be home. So I hope you guys are having a good Sunday, and I hope your reading is going better than mine. I did want to point out that this is my June finale on the board. I didn't do it last week because we weren't quite done yet. But I went back, and so I didn't show all my DNFs, the ones the 2 that I put back on my shelf. I just put the DNFs that, like, I'm definitely done with. My series, I did a little bit of everything, but yeah, anyway. And then I had a couple classics, and then a couple more translated because of last week. And then my nonfiction and historical fiction was pretty good. I had a reread, but no big books, no ebooks, no 5-star predictions. So anyway, I will change the board for July. And again, the only thing so far I can mark is start of a series. And that's kind of it. So I will have that ready for next week to go over. Yes, Cooper. Oh my gosh. We're done. Anyway. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.